Hello everyone. It's a beautiful day, or at least it's coming to the end of the day. It's the shadows are lengthening, and I've just been reading a book about Cromwell, who sent people here from the eastern side of the country with the phrase "to hell or to Connacht," because there wasn't much. It was like between the devil and the deep blue sea, or out of the fire into the frying pan, because Connemara is a really hard place to live. It's poor soil, it's rock, gales from the ocean. Difficult to raise anything really here, and a lot of bog as well. So I always feel really pleased when I'm walking this way and I look down to the house and I see it surrounded by trees and hedges, and especially in this beautiful month of May when everything is absolutely at its peak. You know, the trees are in flower, perennials are coming back, the veg garden is just starting to take off, and it is just the most incredible thing to see all this life just shining out. So I'm going to bring you around the garden and just show you a few bits and pieces that demonstrate what I'm just saying. One of the things I love about coming home is the variety on the driveway here, because I've mentioned before how difficult it is to plan planting because the ground is so rocky and uneven, and it's a case of you just stick something in wherever you can get a bit of depth. So these trees have all been shoved in, forced in really, and it's just now, a few years later, that it's beginning to look colourful and interesting. We've got a euonymus here, which was a gift from a friend. The rowan flowers are just beautiful, and further up there's some griselinia, and there's a crampbark here as well. The flowers are just coming out on it. And Aquilegia, which is a beautiful all-time favourite of mine. I just love it. We've been, I'd just say 10 to 11 years since we started planting trees, and it's unbelievable the difference, and quite soon we're going to put together a before and after video just to show you how denuded this garden was, how empty it was, how there was nothing here, and the difference a few trees and shrubs make. It is just incredible. Come over here. I've been tidying up the last couple of days, and these willow arches are just, they're a bit of a problem. So I've tried tying them in together so that this one doesn't get so blown over. But the amount of growth already is just phenomenal. And this, I just put in a few little, what you call a slip, which is a tiny bare-rooted tree, and they're actually all growing on top of each other now. I mean, this oak tree has been here for 2 to 3 years, that's all. And it just really lifts my heart and makes me feel so happy to see the variety of trees and the way they're so happy and growing here. So even though Connemara is a denuded landscape to some extent, you can make a difference when you start planting trees. So we've got now magical little secret places. You know, it's a tiny woodland, but I think this is probably the biggest achievement of my life, is to have grown these trees, because they give so much pleasure, and they also provide a home for the birds. So this little woodland must be about 10 years in the growing, I'd say. We did start growing vegetables and things maybe as far back as 12, 13 years ago, but it was just the beginning. And the trees came here first, but then we extended in the other side of the garden. I'll show you the newer plantings. It's lovely to look back and see all the trees that are here. And the reason we've planted so many trees is partially for privacy and for windbreak, but also because trees just enable more biodiversity to come into the garden. So we have hares, we have lots of different types of birds here now who are nesting in the older trees and in the shrubs and bushes. And we've got a pond here, a wild pond, so we have lots of frogs coming. And I've seen lots of baby frogs jumping around already. So it all makes you feel that you're being a guardian, taking care of the land, and it just makes you feel you're doing something positive and something good. But apart from that, we're also growing vegetables, and this time of year everything's turning green and the vegetables are coming up, and it just makes the garden look so lush and so abundant. So it is abundant for other creatures and for us. So let's have a look at the veg section now. Oh, I'll just say before we go up to the veg, all this, normally I would strim it, which I don't like using a strimmer because it's noisy, it's petrol, but I've bought a scythe, and next weekend I'm off to learn how to use it. So by the time I get back from that weekend, this will be even longer. And so I'm going to then scythe it down, and it will become bedding for the hens when it gets dried. Like, I'll make little haystacks with it. So that'll be something nice to show you. Traditional haystacks. So even our little veg plot now is surrounded by little woodlands because we've popped trees in so many places. And again, they're giving a bit of protection, but it's just so lovely to see the diversity of trees. We've got oaks, we've got alders, we've got birch and beech, rowan and guelder rose, and lots of rosa rugosa up there on that ridge, which will give me so many rose blossoms to make my lotions and potions with and teas with. Here we've got our strawberries. They're just about to go into fruit. All the flowers are out, and it's just a sight for sore eyes. It really is. And I've discovered a little patch of violets, and they're so delightful to see. But that's one of the things about the biodiversity of our little plot. We've got the trees, we've got the fruits, we've got the vegetables, and I also am growing herbs. I do like to forage the wild herbs such as plantain and horsetail, which we've got growing in here. We've also got some poppies here with the potatoes. They've self-seeded from last year when they were over there somewhere. And that's one of the beautiful things as well, that when things self-seed, you get all these amazing little surprises just popping up unexpectedly in funny places, like the middle of a potato bed. And so this is my herb garden. These are plants that I'm cultivating as opposed to the ones that I forage that grow wild. So I have motherwort, mullein, white horehound, oxeye daisies. There's some lavender here. There's an apothecary rose, some elecampane and feverfew, valerian, lungwort. This is wormwood, very useful at the moment, and I've just planted a new one. And more elecampane, lots of catnip. I just went a bit mad with the catnip. And I do love valerian, the smell. I love the smell of it when the flowers turn pink. But this is the hub of everything that I do, really, because my herb courses, we would use this garden when the students come, and I use this garden to demonstrate on the online course as well. And it's badly in need of some weeding at the moment, because every time you turn around the weeds are back again, which is more example of biodiversity and prolific growth. Once you start putting attention and care into the place, it becomes exponential. So I've got some St. John's wort here and here. That's self-seeded from another plant that hasn't come back, but they're the babies. So all I can say is 10 years of growing, and this is what we have. And it's hard work because there's a lot to keep on top of, but it is so worth it for the absolute sheer pleasure and joy that having a garden gives, as I'm sure many of you know from all that you say. So I hope you've enjoyed this little look around, and you can see what it's like after 10 years. And I hope you've enjoyed the look at the herb garden. This will give you some indication of what the herb course is going to be talking about. So if you're interested in the herb course, the details are on the website. So thank you so much for watching, for coming along this Sunday, and we'll see you next week. Bye.